What's up, guys? Welcome to Florida. In this one, I'm doing a little bit of a recap of a game that I played against Shake. This is actually the last game of a best of 7 between us, and I thought it was a really interesting game, really good game. So yeah, it's not a live gameplay, but it's kind of like a casted game of myself. So let's get right into this one. So I'm playing as British on Florida, and Shake is playing as the French. So you obviously on this map you both start with the market. So he's going TP, I'm going 2 houses for my start. And let me just kind of explain a little bit of my thought process in this series, or at least this last game of this series. So knowing the map was going to be Florida, I picked Brit. I was actually considering between Brit and Japan, because I know that there's the Carib settlement on here, where all your archer attack, basically your range attack and hand attack, but the main one is the range attack, of course, with your archer, right? So longbows can get an extra 10% damage, and that also would apply to Yumi if I was playing as Japan. So I was kind of going between those two as to what civ I wanted to play. Ended up going with Brits, and I had my eye on that, or at least thinking about that tech right from the beginning of the game. I intended to make some use out of it, so I do end up using it in this game. So just a little bit of a precursor. But my build order here is pretty simple, just the 3 villagers. I was considering going Greenwich time, just because I feel like it's actually like a really solid card. But for me to use that, I think you want to start off with a TP and then use that to add in a second TP, and then you have like a really significant bonus for your age up time and your tech time. Because when you only have 1 TP, it's not quite as impactful. But it definitely is an option for this matchup where you're trying to get up to Fortress at a decent time compared to your opponent. So a little bit of treasure contention here. It's just 40 food, but he ends up getting it. I got myself a tomahawk here. He's got his native scout that obviously he starts with. That's French. So, yep. Just getting up to age 2. I believe I did get hunting dogs. Oh, I'm eating a sheep. I was like, why is it 2 food per second? Yeah, it's because sheep. Actually, it doesn't look like I have hunting dogs. Yeah, I skipped it, obviously, because I had to go 2 houses, but I'll be adding that in shortly. And we're both aging up. Well, actually, Shake's aging up significantly faster because he's doing a 12-10. So that is something that French can do quite commonly and not have much idle time at all. So that's what he's going for in this game. He's getting placer mines and hunting dogs. So he's getting all his standard techs, dropping his house, so he's not idled at all when he ages up. He's not gathering any extra wood, though, so I'm guessing he's probably going to go steel traps off of the 400 wood age up. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, he's not gathering a whole bunch of coins, so we'll have to see exactly how he goes about his early age 2 here. So if you guys don't know Shake, he is, to be honest, I don't know all that much about him. I just know since I've been back, he's quite active in the community, and he seems to be one of the main guys behind freefoodparty.com, which is an awesome website for Age of Empires 3. You get a very nice leaderboard, a really nice UI, and a bunch of extra tools too on there. One of my favorite websites, probably like that the game's ever had. So he streams quite a bit on their Twitch, and he's a really good player. I don't know if he was under a different account name in the past, but he's like really good. He's, I think, probably top 25 player. Could be off. I'm not too sure, but from the games I played against him, he beats me quite often. So very good player for sure. You guys probably know more about him than I do already. So okay, he just goes 4 CDB, 700 wood. I actually did not catch if he got steel traps. Did he get steel traps? Not too sure, but just too busy talking. Anyway, he's going, looks like he's going to go for a semi-FF with 10 or 15 muskets. Pretty standard strategy with French. Very, very strong. You get the early timing with some muskets and falconets. So that's looking like what he's going for. And over here on my side of the map, I have this idea in this matchup that, well, I think I play it very similar to Brit versus German, where I feel like you need a good rounded composition of pretty much almost any unit. I mean, you can even go musket, but I like to go longbow, pike in case he's going for a hussar semi-FF, and then it's also useful later in the game versus curs. So they can always be pretty useful. They're a cheap unit, and they can be pretty helpful in a lot of situations. So he's actually coming in here with some muskets, and I do have longbow and Q. My idea here is to go 700 wood, 600 wood, 700 coin for a somewhat decent timing into a fortress age, like a semi-FF kind of thing. At 3 shipments, same as French or German typically do, but because Brit doesn't have the fast age up, they're a little bit slower. So I actually look like I get a good angle here. I want to pick off his muskets, and I get one for free, another one, and I'm pretty happy with this trade here. So I'm intending to add in some hussar and then goons once I get the H3, and pretty much aim for a longbow goon composition once I get there. So just need to have a few extra early units to help guide your way there. You can't just go straight FF. Like, if I did that, then I would have been picked apart there, or had at least a ton of idle time. So I know, I don't know, but I wasn't able to scout his base all that much, but I figure that that's what he's doing. It's one of the most common strategies for French nowadays, and especially versus Brit, is to go like a 10 or 15 musk semi-FF, and a lot of times from there they'll do the 2 falc push with vet musk and add in skirms. Sometimes they go straight after that first push, they'll go to industrial. So there's a few different things they can do. You just got to watch out for that. And actually Brit can handle that too. Like, they can handle the heavy cannons if they make 3 culves. It's, you know, obviously culverins are something they have access to in the Fortress Age. So knowing that he's doing this, or at least anticipating that he's doing this, I feel like I can push a little bit, try to pick off a few muskets, because it's pretty valuable if you're able to take some of those out before they get the veteran status. So that's what I'm aiming to do here. Though he is up, and it's right around 8 minutes, so that's a pretty quick, fast fortress when you're making 20 muskets in the meantime. So that's why this is such a strong strategy. He's getting the vet musk, he's got the 2 falcons on the way, and then a lot of times French players will send some cur or make a batch. It's hard to make a batch because you need to have a stable and then quite a bit of resources, so a lot of times they'll just send the 3 cur. So over here, back on my side of the base, I just have the small army of about 5 pike, 5 longbow. I'm finally aging up. I have 37 vills compared to his 24, but obviously CDB gather faster. But it's a decent eco. It's not like crazy good. I didn't send, obviously they don't have 5 vills anymore, but I didn't send 4 vills. Just gathering up a treasure here. It's always something you can do in the meantime while you're waiting for age up or whatever. I believe I also got log flume. No, not yet. I think I'm gonna queue it up relatively soon. It's an upgrade that I like to get with Brits in the transition to Fortress, because you'll have a decent amount of resources. You can't really send any shipments that you want to send, but you sometimes have the extra gold. Here I'm again anticipating, and there it is, the push. So I have my pike, I have Huss in Q, and I will base my first shipment in H3 around the temple that he's pushing with. So again, you don't want to make the mistake of thinking they're gonna stay in H3 and then you're caught off guard when they hit industrial. So I'm just trying to make sure I make a good read. And of course, the first thing I do when I queue up, hit up to H3 is put dragoons in queue. And I do end up going with 2 falcons here. You can see what Shake's doing behind this is he sent, okay, sometimes I'll go 1k coin. He went straight to the 8 skirm, and he's making a double batch of skirm. He's gonna get a nice batch, probably 6, 7. Could get 7, but So now he's got a pretty well-rounded army. He's got a couple Falcons. He's got 30 vet and muskets. He's got about 20 skirmishers. So, but this is a point where it's like with French, you have to make a decision. You have to either like push in. You got to take advantage of the tempo you have, the earlier age up time, or you have to go to industrial. You could, if you happen to send 1k wood, you could go with a second TC and try to catch up in eco, because at this point you're kind of starting to fade behind Brits once they get like a decent manor count. So he's at 28 vills right now, CDB. I'm at 40 vills. So I'm just trying to find some vills. This is typically a second or third hunt that each player would go for, is the turkeys along the shoreline. So that's what I'm checking there. This is terrible. I am doing too many things at once. I get both of my Falcons caught for free. That is so brutal. And this is game 7 of a series, of a show match that's being casted. And I do get one Falcon. He gets another great shot locking on there. But that's very disheartening when that happened. And then just seeing the mass of like 40 or 50 infantry coming to my base, not a good feeling. I'm trying to get any value out of my longbow here and pick off some units, but it's really, really risky. I'm able to get one of them. So I got Huss just shipped in, but it's going to be so difficult. I'm glad that he's down to one Falconet at this point. It gets a lot easier to deal with and take some shots to the face of one Falcon than it is to two. So that's the bright side of this. And so what I do, based on, and this is a good idea versus French that is playing H3. They, like I said, typically, if you see a lot of skirmishers, that means they're probably sticking to the all infantry composition. So I'm making a Falconet of my own, and you could kind of just make 3. Oh, and this is actually important too. I know I'm behind. I know I can't take the fight, so I'm trying to just catch some units off guard. His 3 curse shipment is coming through, and I'm able to get some damage on that, but also force him to come back, leave my base alone, and my villagers can go back to gather. And I think I do I get a second Falcon? I do get 2 Falcons. So this is a scary fight again, but I have the goons there that can take out the first, or well, really the second curve from that shipment, and he doesn't really get any value. I mean, he gets a few good hits on my longbow there actually, but that shipment kind of canceled out by just being active on the map. And now I'm getting vet Huss, sending in my longbow. I'm running for my life at this point. I also have 10 Huss coming in for reinforcements and the 2 Falconets. So trying to manage this fight, in these basically 3 armies and a shipment on the way. I mean, this is the timing on this. This was very hectic, trying to position everything and not get caught off with my separate groups of units, because you don't want to take a fight, but where you have half your army. Kind of happening here a little bit, so I'm not super happy. I do get the Falcon in the back there, and his 3, or he actually had 5 curves there, coming onto my Falcons now. They're gonna get those down, but some good trades. I get a few good shots on his infantry. I kill 5 curves for that. Vet Hussar now in, and longbow shooting from the back. These are actually only age 2 longbows, so not ideal. I have the resources to get vet longbow too, so a little bit of a misplay there. I would actually say quite a bit of a misplay. But just trying to survive in this fight. You can see about 20 units for Shake still here. He's got a shipment. Let's see what his next one's going to be. I mean, it's just a very, very close fight. Just imagine if these were vet longbow, how much better they'd be doing. They're such a good unit in standing fights. Actually trading pretty damn evenly in that. He's got 2 shipments now. He's paying so close attention to the fight and shifting his vills around. But yeah, these 5 curs are getting tons of value on the longbow, just evaporating my H2 longbow. The 3 goons I have left, trying to get as many kills as possible, but now they're under attack by the cur. So this is just like a massacre. Both players using pretty much their entire army, resetting. I mean, he's at 50 population right now. He's going to drop below 50 once this cur dies. So many longbow. It makes me actually sick to see that these are all H2 longbow dying like this. Really not ideal. Not the best. So, but he's going to drop all the way to 45 population. at that point. I'm down to 75. I have 51 bills. So really, I'm not even close to max mana either. So still a bunch of room to grow the boom. He did take out my barracks and all that, so I guess that would be a reason as to why I didn't get vet longbow. But should always, you know, at least have one barracks, if not a second one, for longbow production at this point in the game. Putting back my market that he killed. He's going for a second TC. We're both kind of settling in. Trying to build ourselves back together, because with pretty much no military after that fight, we're kind of starting over and trying to remass. So he sees that as an opportunity to get his eco back going, try to catch up, and maybe in the long term pass me up. So yeah, both lost some artillery, a lot of infantry down, and let's check. At this point, he hasn't sent any military upgrade cards, so he's just got basic standard units. I believe at this point I have already sent cav combat. Yeoman's on the way, so I'm getting some upgraded units, so that is a better long-term situation for myself at this point. And going with that composition that at some point in the game, maybe not late game, but mid-game, Longbow Goon is really good composition. And you can see I'm starting to take the native post, thinking finally it's time to get that special upgrade that was actually nerfed in the somewhat recent past. It used to be, I believe, 15% bonus damage, not bonus damage, but I guess, would you call it bonus damage? It's not bonus against certain units, but regardless, 10% extra. Oh no, the Seminole. A minute. All archer actions 15%. Yeah, okay, but dude, wait a minute. Did I not even know? Oh my gosh. Wait, you can get this one too? Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. Okay, that's even crazier. Wow, so okay. So you can stack those, it looks like, for 25% extra damage. So I did get the 10% one here. I guess I just didn't know that it was two separate techs. Wow. Wow, yeah, that's pretty wild. That is for all units, right? Special beer brewed from the poisonous cassava root increases the attack of archers and hand infantry. Yeah. Wow. Okay, well, you know, you learned something. I've been playing this game for so many years, and to just finally learn that, it means a few things. I need to use my natives quite a bit more, but wow, that's so. Anyway, my longbow are at 21 attack right now, and 26 range, so super good, super solid. Gonna be able to get good positions throughout the game because of that extra range. Oh, and also because food is really starting to dwindle. You hear that sound? That's a dock going down. Well, I was thinking about sending 8 bills, but I'm actually sending siege archery here. I feel like I'm in a good position after that fight, because I know that if French doesn't do a lot of damage, Brit kind of takes off in the economy department. Little do I know at this point though that he has a second TC, so I'm like starting to say, okay, this game's over. I'm gonna just use this cool little siege card and get some damage from long range, so I don't have to get too close to him. And just with this amount of goons, my longbow should be pretty safe. So yeah, I mean, with almost 30 goons with cav combat, that's a good feeling to be in this situation. Then dropping a second dock, knowing that he might not be doing that, so I should have a nice transition to mills if I do have to make mills at some point. So siege archery does come in, and I start sieging down his barracks here. But that's not going to last too long, because I finally see all these curs, and I'm like, oh my god, I got to get out of there. So we get to look at comparing the longbow stats right now are just like so far superior compared to the skirmishers. 21 attack for the longbows, obviously the longer range, and the double the rate of fire. So that's definitely a better unit at this point in the game. So I don't know how many skirms he has, but I got a little bit afraid of that cur mass, and it's really starting to grow. I think at this point, let's take a look. He has cav combat. He's sending hand cav hit points. He also does have the arsenal, so I'm sure he has the upgrade there. They're going to be nearly 700 HP at this point. 680. That is wild. And he's going to pick off a few vills here, trying to put an outpost up on this gold mine. That's not going to happen. So he's got 52 CDB. I'm at 73 vills. That's actually pretty close. Yeah, because he would, that's like 12 extra vills, right? 65-ish. Yeah, he's maybe a little bit behind, but he's on the natural resources, unlike myself. I have 33 on wood at this point, so he's definitely very close, if not in the advantageous position in terms of economy. But I'm max pop at this point. I'm making a bunch of fishing boats, switching up my eco, keeping my food incomes alive, because he has like the entire map, and all those fishing boats and queues, starting to put down mills. And I'm not exactly sure. Okay, yeah, we're going with the cavalry hit points. See, this is why actually I love goons with Brit. And I think a lot of people know this, especially in the late game. I mean, remember back in the day when people were playing like water maps, and like the ships were OP, and you could have like super long range for some of the monitor or the mortars, not the mortars, the frigs and the caravels with offshore support and all that. People would build a bunch of mills or plantations along the edge of the water, and then end up getting like a bunch of goons late game, and because they benefit from not from hand attack, from the cavalry hit point cards. Unlike most civs, like for French, it's hand cavalry combat and hand cavalry. No, it's not hand cavalry combat. This one is for goons and curs, but this one is just for hand cav, so hussar and veteran curs. But yeah, Brit has the same. Well, it's actually a different card because it's for Huss and Goons. Same with Cav Combat, that's for all cavalry. So anyway, just a little thing that gives Brit a slight edge in terms of Dragoon stats in certain matchups. So yeah, we're settling in. I'm starting to wall off. I'm very afraid of all those cur, so I'm starting to protect my vills a little bit with that. And I'm actually, look at this, guys. I'm making native units. I'm actually thinking a little bit here, and I'm adding in anything I can to try to withstand this push. I feel like I'm probably have a higher villager count. That's what I'm thinking at this point. So I'm anticipating he's gonna have a larger military. So I feel like I need to add in whatever I can. So that's what I'm doing. And it looks like Shake is. This is a point where, and this is crucial. Look at, oh my god, 29 curs with triple carded, or are they double carded? Just double carded. He doesn't have the hand attack because it is hand cavalry attack, not cavalry attack. Regardless, he's running out of food. He's finally beginning that transition, even though he does have some hunt on the right side there. He's beginning that transition to mills. So I'm still on fish, so that becomes my advantage now, and I'm pushing him as much as I can. Some really good snipes there for free. And then I see that he's got an artillery foundry. So now, I mean, just, this is a scary, scary army. When you think about 30 curs and then adding in falcons, the amount of splash can just evaporate any army. So I'm trying to kite my way out of here and save as many units as I can. He's got still 25 curs. My goons are getting kind of diced up just from the snare, and my longbows are way back and safe. He is still finally dropping under 20 cur count, but there's 3 falcons coming in. This fight, I'm worried that if this fight doesn't go well, he's just going to run through my base and kill all my farming villagers. So I'm really trying to get a good position here. He's got 11 curs still. Falcons are making their way. A nice big shot for him, and I'm just trying to survive at this point. You can see Shake's eco is not the greatest. He's got idle vills. He doesn't have vills in production. He's just trying to make it happen right now, and I kind of sense that too. I'm just trying to survive He does have 3 Falcons. He's at the front of my base. At this point, I actually don't have much I can do. So I'm sending 8 Rangers. It's actually, I'm not even sure why I have this card in the deck. I think I just wanted to see what they were and how they worked. Yeah, I canceled that because that is not really the card you need at this point. But yeah, I have the Artillery Foundry. I didn't opt to add in Culves. So I feel like my eco is strong enough where I can just kind of win with sheer mass, maybe, or at least the next fight. But it's like this composition is good, Longbow Goon, but when you're facing artillery, it becomes a little bit difficult. So the best thing I can do at this point to counter those Falcons is try to utilize 26 range of the longbow, and keep, because he does have a lot of skirms, so I can't just dive in with the goons, and probably won't be value. It wouldn't be a lot of value there when I probably got to sacrifice 5 or so goons to kill 1 Falcon. So I'd catch him off guard here, which, ooh, but he has a great army flip there. So I do end up sending the goons in, losing a lot of them, but the longbow did snipe the other Falcon, so get 2 Falcons, but losing lots of goons here. Is such a great move at that flip of that drag box flip, and now he's sending some CDB in the tank, and I'm sensing that this maybe this is the final push, and if I could just hold on here, then I should be okay. More curs coming. He's got, let's see how many from his perspective, 11 curs. He has a bunch, 30 skirm coming in, and again, I just feel like if I can hold this, maybe I'll be okay. I did make 1 culverin, but it didn't matter because I ended up going in to snipe those Falcons. But he does have 1 Falcon remaining, so I'll try to utilize that. Nice chokes here for my longbow, for the goon to shoot from the back when the curs do come in, and I'm able to actually utilize that culve, and it's going to be able to take out the falconet. So you can see his eco is, he's trying to balance it. He needs an estate or to go down the mines in the middle of the map. But yeah, I mean, at this point I'm adding in some extra units from the native post. I'm making a Falcon of my own here, and still trying to get the goons to continually produce. Have 2 estates. Got, what, 4 mills now, so really setting up the late game eco. And still max pop, so I'm feeling good about this. I'm just like, every time I'm just like trying to hold on and just withstand his push, not get overwhelmed. And because I mean, it's like when you have this many curs, it's like sometimes it doesn't matter how far you're ahead in economy. Like if you just get overrun and you can't kill 5 curs in your base, it doesn't matter how many resources you have in the bank. They'll just kill all your units as you pop out. But here we go, a huge fight. Ton of longbows on the front line. Not the best positioning for myself here. These curs are doing work, but I am thinning out his skirmisher line. The goons are taking out the curs, and that's where Shake is going to call it. And this was game 7 of our best of 7 series that Shake had invited me to on behalf of Free Food Party. So that was an intense game for me, a really close series. I think I was down 3-1 at one point in this series, and I was not in a good place mentally. But you got to just kind of try to stay in it and stay focused, take it one game at a time, and have a game plan going into each game. And so this one, I definitely had a game plan. Now I know even more that you can get even more. Now I know even better that you can get even more upgrades for the longbow. I mean, yeah, you learn something every day, right? But the longbow with 21 attack here, really nice boost from the Seminole settlement here. I'm gonna have to add in the Carib one next time, and then it'll be even to a whole nother level. So yeah, I think the difference here was that he just wasn't able to take advantage of his military pressure early in Fortress. Either, you know, he did go with that second town center, but I think that was a little bit late. If he did that earlier, he could have had balanced out the economy deficit a little bit more. And then he didn't utilize fish, which I did. So that's, on a land map, this could have been different for sure, when he had map control and just basically ate up all the hunts. So utilizing the water when you have the opportunity to, it can be big. So You gotta love those Brit Dragoons, man, with the double card. It's sometimes it feels like it's hard because they don't have a shipment for goons, so it's a little bit awkward to get a longbow goon composition. But when you finally do, and you have a good number of goons, and you have their upgrades, they're a really strong unit there, and the composition with longbow, it makes it very difficult for your opponents. So one of my favorite compositions to go for. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.